So ahead of the Federal Reserve meeting this Wednesday, we had a triple macro data bomb dropped on us last week. Let's look at how the jobs, inflation and growth data that was delivered last week all but wipes out the chances of an interest rate cut this Wednesday. First of all, we had inflation data that came out and showed a 0.0% increase in prices month to month. That was really good news, and even the year-on-year data dropped to 2.3%. Now that gives the Fed a chance to cut rates going forward because we're getting close to the target, or at least it would in normal times. However, of course, those tariffs are just basically tax rises on top of prices. So if companies are going to keep their profit margins, they've got to take up prices to reflect the tariff costs. Fed Chair Powell will probably hold back, and he'll indicate there is a chance that rates can come down in the future, but not just yet. We also had GDP data for the first quarter come out the same day, and that actually showed a drop in economic growth in the first quarter before Liberation Day even happened. However, there was a little bit of a funny in the data with a surge in imports of managements that wanted to get goods in before the tariffs were applied. So that actually made it look far worse than it was. Futures dumped 2% in a straight line. However, then they clawed their way back to being unchanged on the day, as we saw that real final sales were actually up quarter on quarter. Finally, on Friday, we had that jobs data that all but put the nail in the coffin of an interest rate cut this Wednesday. And that showed that we had 177,000 increase in jobs against 138 expected. Much better than we hoped for, and certainly no signs of the economy slowing just yet. However, that huge rally that we've had up does worry me a little bit because we've had all the good news of tech earnings, but we've still got the real world outside AI numbers to come. So for coverage of that Fed rate meeting on Wednesday and the next morning, check us out, Trade Live with IG, where you get a daily dose of all stock market updates and the big moves.